Hi everyone, it's Ms. Ravel, and I'm going to teach you guys how to find the vertex when you're in standard form. And so a couple things we need to go over first. One, just remembering what standard form is. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Or sometimes they'll put an f of x there. So make sure you guys have that one. The other thing you need is part of the quadratic formula. So I put the quadratic formula up here because you guys are already familiar with it. You already know what some of the things do. So the first thing is you guys learned that right there is called the discriminant. And you guys knew you could find that, use that to find roots. What we're going to be using is the other part of the quadratic formula, which is this part right here. Okay. So that part right there is your vertex formula. And your vertex is an ordered pair. You need an x and a y. I think you guys remember that from absolute value. This formula, this part right here, is going to help us find the x. And then you're going to be able to plug it back in to your equation to get the y value. So again, not difficult, basic math, just making sure you can identify your a, b, and c. So let's get started. Our first example, f of x equals x squared plus 4x plus 5. Okay, so let's identify our a, b, and c. Our a is a positive 1. Our b is 4. And our c is 5. And then we're just going to use this formula. X equals negative b over 2a. Remember that negative is part of the formula, so you need to be careful, especially if you get a negative b around here. You need to make sure that you use your negatives appropriately. So for this one, it's going to be negative 4 all over 2, because that's part of the formula, times a, which is 1. And that equals negative 4 over 2, which equals negative 2. Okay, that part's great. You found the x. But remember, the vertex is an ordered pair. You need to find the y value. So we're going to plug it back in. You're going to take whatever you got here. In this case, it's negative 2. And you're going to plug it back in for your x's and solve for y. So let's do that. I've got negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 5. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And then I'm going to add 5. And then just basic math, negative 4 plus 5 equals 1. What did I just find? I just found the y value of the vertex. And remember, you're going to write your answer as an ordered pair. So your vertex is going to be negative 2, comma 1. And that's your vertex. Super easy. Okay, let's do a couple more examples. So this one up here, f of x equals x squared minus 16x plus 29. So again, let's go through our a, b, and c. Our a is 1, our b is equal to negative 16, our c is equal to 29. And remember, your vertex formula is negative b over 2a. X equals that. X equals negative b over 2a. So let's plug and chug. Here we go. I've got minus, because that's part of this, a negative 16 all over 2 times 1. It's going to make that a positive. So I've got 16 over 2, which equals 8. Okay, no problem there. That's my x. Plug it back in and get your y. So here I've got 8 squared minus 16 times 8 plus 29. Okay. 8 squared is 64 minus 128 plus 29. Negative 64 plus 29 equals negative 35. Okay, so your vertex is 8, comma, negative 35. Remember, negatives possible, decimals are possible because you're just finding a point on the graph. Okay. So there's your vertex for that one. That up there for you. Okay. All right, let's try this one. My a is greater than 1, so a is equal to 2, B is equal to negative 20, C is equal to 49. Let's go again. X is equal to negative B over 2A. Again, careful with your negatives, careful with your A value, because sometimes your A value is going to be greater than 1. So I've got minus a negative 20 all over 2 times 2. Okay. That's going to give me positive 20 over 4, which equals 5. Okay. I found the X value. So half of it's done. Let's plug it back in. Take that 5, plug it in there, plug it in there. I've got 2 times 5 squared minus 20 times 5 plus 49. Okay. 5 squared is 25. So let me just write that right there. We know that's 25 times 2. So that's going to give me 50 minus 100 plus 49. And then I've got negative 50 plus 49, and that is going to equal negative 1. So my vertex is negative 5, negative 1. And there's your vertex for that. And then your last one, again, A is equal to negative 1. Careful with the negative. B is equal to 20. C is equal to negative 13. X equals negative B over 2A. Okay. So that's going to give me negative 20 all over 2 times negative 1. Don't forget your negative out here. Give me negative 20 over negative 2, which equals positive 10. Okay. Now here's the only one where I think that you guys could get a little confused is plugging your 10 back in. So plugging this guy back into there and there. Remember, it's not negative 10 squared. It's negative times the quantity 10 squared, okay, which is different. Plus 20 times 10 minus 13. Okay. Order of operations. All right, that goes first. So that is negative 100 plus 200 minus 13. Okay. Adding these, I get positive 100 minus 13, which is going to give me a positive 87. So my vertex is 10, 87. And that's it. Super easy. So again, remember that when you're doing vertex, this formula will get you the X value, okay? You have to remember to plug it back in to get the Y value. And I just put in my F of X there, I forgot it there. So plug it back in to get the Y value so that you guys are good with that, and be careful with your negatives. That's really the only thing you need to worry about are your negatives. All right, hope you guys do well. And remember that this will make a little bit more sense if you had watched Mr. David's video first. So if you haven't done that, make sure you go ahead and watch that video. Bye, guys.